But my gut reaction when I saw it was like, hey, that's not fair. Okay, so I'm going through some of the stuff on the video that I uploaded today, and this really surprised me. I'm seeing people like right here. We've got Lucas talking about my group is 200 for Rakash. I feel scammed. We got another one. I have 200 in my group, level 82. I believe that would be for Nekmathar. I believe it was Ragash and then Nekmathar and then Prince Kaimar as you go up and up the different tiers. And then in the early game, I believe they had Dway Don, the Epic, in their Champion Chase tournament group. But the reason that I think this is a problem is because if I pull up my group in the Champion Chase tournament, I've only got a group of 100, and if I scroll all the way down to the bottom right there, and I can move my camera right here, yeah, you can see, and I haven't pulled any shards yet, and you can see that this is a tournament group of 100. So the reason that's kind of a scam is our different people getting different numbers of people in their group, which is a big deal because this is a competition. So that means that only 1 out of 200 people are going to win that prize, as opposed to a group like mine where it means 1 out of 100 people are going to win. It's obviously going to be much tougher. If you're in a group of 200 people, odds are you're going to be up against like 10 to 15 high spenders, where if you're in a group of 100 people, you might be up against like 5 to 10 high spenders. And yeah, here it is. So it's levels 1 through 50 for Dway Don, and then Ragash is 51 to 80, Nekmathar is 81 to 98, and then Kaimar is for the end game accounts that are 99 or 100. So I wonder if they are going to be doing groups of 200 for the first 3, for Dway Don, Ragash, and Nekmathar, and then in the end game they're doing groups of 100. Now, can we play devil's advocate here? And if I was trying to like steel man for Plarium, maybe there's more players that are in those first 3 tiers, because when you get up to level 99 or 100, there's going to be a lot less of the player base that is up in those tiers. So maybe that's why they're lowering the group, because there's going to be more like inactive accounts in those first 3 sections as opposed to up at 99 or 100. But even then, I still don't think it's fair, because you're going to want it to be like the percentages are still the same. Like you still want groups of 100. You want it to be the same level of competition for every tier, right? Because it's not fair to make 200 beginners compete against each other for Dway Don, because it means it's going to be that much harder for a beginner to win Dway Don if they want to use that epic to dive into something like the Sylvan Watcher's Keep. And this is why I always enjoy doing polling and going through comment sections, and why I always ask all of you to go ahead and leave a comment about your thoughts down below, because something like that I probably wouldn't notice because I can only see my group and react to that, and I just kind of assumed it would be 100 for all of you out there as well. And then also something I need to clarify from today's earlier video. I was talking about the tournament here and pulling voids and how you can expect to get about 100 points per void, 100, 105, somewhere in there per void shard. But you can actually get points for every shard. I was kind of focusing in on the voids because it is a void 2x, and you can't, and I was talking about how you can't infinitely scale voids because the packs in the shop, they run out. You can only purchase like 5 a month, and then they don't always send out void offers, but you can infinitely scale with ancients. So technically someone could pull a bunch of ancients even though there isn't a 2x going on for them. If someone was really dedicated to making sure they win a Kaimar and they ran out of voids, they could technically buy like the $100 gem packs and then turn those gems into ancients and then YOLO a bunch of ancients to still try and get points towards the Kaimar event, because you don't only have to pull voids to get points for Kaimar. And that's something I should have clarified this morning. I apologize for that. But then getting back to the tournament group size discussion and all of that, what should the tournament groups be? I'm trying to think like objectively and honestly, if I was Plarium and not being like too biased as a player, because obviously we would like it if it was just a Kaimar over on the right side and it was guaranteed if you get to like 6,000 points or something, you can get a Kaimar. But obviously we have to think in terms of realism and what's realistic. I wish the groups were like groups of 50. I feel like, you know, you're going to have about 30 of the counts that might be inactive, and then you'll have a group of 20. I mean, that's still a pretty solid competition. If only one person out of like 20 active people that are trying to pull shards that weekend, I feel like that's still fair. I mean, Kaimar is a non-void, and they only do events like this a couple times a year, I feel like that would still be pretty realistic from Plarium's end. And it would also be a better dub for the player base, because 1 out of 50 or something would be a lot better than 1 out of 200 or even 1 out of 200. But I would be curious to know, for those of you out there that are in groups of 200, what is the participation rate? Because right here for me, I'm in a group where, what is it? Like how many people are over 1,000 points in your group? So right here for me, I've got 22 people that are over 1,000 points. I would be curious to see in those groups where people are like level 20, level 50, level 70, level 80, whatever. Like are your groups, do you have like 70 people that are over 1,000 points? And what is the manipulation of the participation rate based on the level and how many players are in the group? And then that would help me really be able to understand a little bit better about Plarium's structure here and why it's being done the way it is, and if it's a horrible thing for the player base or if it's just kind of a side effect that doesn't really mean anything. But my gut reaction when I saw it was like, hey, that's not fair. And like, if I'm in a group of 100, all of you should be in a group of 100. It should at least be fair across the player base, was kind of like my first gut reaction when I saw that. I was kind of wishing they would just be consistent about it, especially for an event like this where you have an S tier, God tier champion. Kymar's probably what? Kymar's probably a top 10 sought after champion in the game. You've got like your Sifis and your Acrisia and your Duchess and some of these most sought after champions. Kymar's got to be on that list just because of his impact and utility in both PvP and PvE. So I wish they would be consistent to keep things even based around that. And I know not all of your groups are for Kymar, but the other champions are really good as well. I think they put up good ones for grabs. I mean, you've got Dwaydan, could be a decent progression epic. Let me pull up Dwaydan's kit again here and let me see. I know the other one's very familiar. Oh wow, and I don't even have Dwaydan. So okay, let's see here. He's like the HP scaling one with the ally protect and stuff, right? The shielding, or yeah, the shielding and then the strengthen, and yeah, I mean that's decent. Cleansing on the A1 is super good. Yeah, he's actually a pretty solid early game to mid game epic, and then Ragash, a really solid mid to end game damage dealer, can be really good in the Hydra, and then Nekmathar is like a top 15 champion in the game for Hydra. I already talked about Kymar a little bit. He is probably one of the top 10 most sought after champions just in general utility in Raid because of PvP and PvE. So yeah, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts down below on this discovery that not all of us are in the same number of tournament groups. Some of you being 200, some of us being 100. I think maybe it's going to be only 99 and 100 that are in the groups of 100, and all the other groups are probably 200. And then if you have time, let me know what is the participation rate and how many people are getting after the shards in your group so I can compare it to mine. But yeah, I appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I will see you soon in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.